Well, hello, folks. Today we're going to be carrying on with the anger series, and this one is called The Other Side of Anger. It's a few talks or audios that NPR guys have done. I've summarized most of them, and I've just stuck to the main meat of it instead of the stories. First of all, it starts with three bonus links, which is what they kind of cover most of them, but there's also a summary down there. The tips are: go into grandma mode or ask yourself what grandma would do, or someone you look up to as a good parent. And my example would be like, I remember my mom was so good at judoing my whatever it was, negative tendencies. So she would listen to me and she'd be like, okay, okay, she'll understand everything. Oh, you're smoking. Okay, I'll put out some ashtrays for you. Just don't burn the house and don't hide from me. And then from getting to know where I was, she was going with me, and then slowly she diverted me into better behaviors and stuff like that. Another one would be like how grandmas are so loving, so curious. Oh, yes, is that? Oh, I don't think that's very nice. Learn to give them the look is another one. Remember when you knew what was up just from that look. We used to call it moms giving us eyes, dads giving us eyes, just get them to work like when they break a vase or vase, you can ask them to bring a brook. I've told you I'm dyslexic, right? So please bear with me. And while cleaning, ask if it's something that can be repaired. And I would do that a lot with my son because he loves breaking his toys. Every weekend, most of the time, I'm just fixing things. He's like, Dad, you're the clean king of fixing things. But other times, he breaks things like the glass straw we got him, so he doesn't have to use plastic and stuff. Broke it. And we're like, see, now you don't have a straw to use because certain things we can't fix. Electronics, if you put water on it and stuff like that, or just break it, it's very hard for me to fix those things. So you have to be very careful with things. Make imaginary characters and get them to wear shoes and ask if Wolfie can try putting on the shoes. Tell stories and make it look into a fantasy after they've calmed down. I'll tell my son stories. I'll try and explain to him like, oh, this is a story of that guy. Do you know what happened to him after this happened? Do you know this? And then they'll be curious and you'll see them in their thinking face. They're like, oh yeah, okay. I actually should have used this today, but I kind of lost it, so we're not always on form. Note, I did not know where to put these notes, so this post felt appropriate. And these are a couple of posts from Osho and Sadhguru. Now, Osho's one is, if someone creates anger in you, Gurdjieff's father told him to wait 24 hours before doing anything. If someone says something that makes him angry, he should wait 24 hours to think about it and decide if the information is worth any value or attention. And this goes back to my filters for when someone gives you criticism or, negative feedback, how to give it some time and space, go through all the filters and see if the information is worth any value or attention. I really like that. I like that part. And Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says it takes 2.5 days for your emotions to change, or that they do not last more than 2.5 days. So there'll always be a change. Just give it a few days. The next one is Sadhguru. He says, bless anyone who makes you angry. This should be an automatic reflex because it shows you what you need to work on. Take 100% responsibility to create a peaceful surrounding, mind, life, etc. You create the atmosphere you want and don't let others' words or behaviors decide what happens within you. It is scientifically proven that you create poisons in you when you get angry. If people are behaving bad around you, stop and have a look at what is wrong with you. Why are you attracting this? Um, in my case, not only why am I attracting this, but why is it pinching me so much? And a lot of the times I've noticed, my own observation was that it was a past version of me that I didn't like, or things like that. Like there's someone in my life who was really pinching me. And I'm like, wait a minute. About 8 or more years ago, the person pinching me, that was me, and I was pinching someone else the same way. Now, the first one, when teens threaten violence, a community responds with compassion. This one didn't have too much, and basically, the summary is they are just giving youth someone to talk to and redirect their anger. Now, this is so important that whoever is angry, they feel heard. just listening. They don't just get to talk to someone or another thing. My theory about rap is that a lot of anger is out there and nobody's really listening. That's why it's the same song, same lyrics, constantly happening. So in my case, when I was working in the prison, I used to work with someone who used to rile the prisoners up all the time. Like they just hated her. So I was like, look, while roll call is happening, let me deal with these guys. Let me talk to them. Any issues, just send them to me. And all they needed was someone to listen to. And I'm like, okay, tell me your issue. There was one guy whose name got misspelled right from the start, and the chain reaction just everywhere he went, they called him the wrong name, and the name is so important to someone that I was like, look, I understand this is a problem. I am going to make sure I follow this up and I will look for you in 1 or 2 days and give you an update. Every 1 or 2 days, I will make sure I let you know where I found out the information has gone and where it's going to be corrected. Within maybe 3 days, it was sorted. But that calmed him down because, first of all, his name was important to him. Second of all, nobody was listening to him because he was getting angry. So he was getting negatives. So I told him that. I even explained to him the more you react, the more negatives you're going to get. You've explained to me. Now I'm going to handle it. I've put it on the no miss system and it's going somewhere. So being heard, there's listening and there's hearing. The next one was got angry. Try naming it to tame it. Now, this one, even before I do the summary, I'll tell you there was a post I read about how it's so good to also do this when you have anxiety or when you have all these strong emotions, name them. This guy, I think he named his anxiety Clive because it reminded him of a very jittery guy called Clive. So now he's like, okay, Clive, right now it's not time for you. Right now we need to focus on the main thing and then we'll get to you. That was naming it, but the summary for this one. Other cultures have many more versions of anger, like regretful anger with the Chinese, or so many more for Indians. Like Indians have crowed, and depending on what type it was, vengeful anger. Like what do they call it? Love, rage, act of romantic violence. I can't remember. Anyway, so categorize and box your anger as English people, like their language, don't have much diversity or versatility. That's my note because as a dyslexic person, I can't tell you how bad English as a patchwork language is. Break it down and name it and use emotional granularity, which is precise labeling of emotions. So the scientific term of precisely labeling your emotions is emotional granularity. The next audio was called If You're Often Angry or Irritable, You May Be Depressed. And this comes to that picture. This is that picture. A lot of what is behind your anger could be so many things: hurt, guilt, shame, embarrassment, humiliation, fear. So you could use that wheel or you could use this iceberg as a reference. A lot of your bad behavior, your defiance, your maladaptive coping, it comes to one of these things. And I've already done a talk on addiction and stuff like that, which breaks down going into keep asking yourself, where did this start? Why did this happen? What should have happened that didn't happen? Or what shouldn't have happened and it happened that caused this stuff in me? Usually it's down to those two things, but could be deeper, could be more things. So the summary is if you're often angry or irritable, you may be depressed. This might mean they may also have another personality disorder. Patients treated with antidepressants would see a drop in anger for these patients. So only for these specific patients who had a different personality disorder. Like I know I don't think it's a full-blown disorder, but I am an avoidant person. And because of my avoidant behavior, I have certain things. I know how to work on it now because I've found that out. And soon I'll be doing a course on finding and naming all your things, what your issues are. Are you a borderline? Are you a split personality? Are you this, that? And hopefully that helps you to deal with going from survivor to thriver. I'm still working on the course, so if you're curious, let me know and I'll give you a taster. The next audio is called Anger Can Be Contagious. Here's how to stop the spread. How many times have you seen how anger is contagious? Like it just, the rage bait, especially on the internet these days, it gets me so much. It gets me so much. That's why I have to keep directing myself to create more content instead of consuming it, because if I let things come into my face, all these feeds just keep showing me things, just go into it and it just spirals me into somewhere else where I don't want to be. So the summary for that one is just like how you automatically smile when someone smiles at you, anger can do the same. You can use humor like Jimmy Kimmel does with his mean tweets, or make fun of it and see the lighter side of things. Now, if you see these guys, the way they react, they really judo it into sarcasm and, like self deprivation, not deprivation, degradation. Use an act of kindness like Patton Oswalt did, helping someone with their medical when they were trolling him. Anger leads to more anger, so stop it with an act of kindness. And this is that other picture which says the that pattern stops with me. My pattern, my whole family, we thrived on anger. So I say this stops with me. I don't want to be the guy who likes to show off rage. So the next audio was school shooter. Understand their path to violence is key to prevention. And now, so many lost kids and everything, they just want to be heard. Again, it's about wanting to be heard, but let's read the summary. Someone you may love may be in crisis or pain. Schools have found that suspension is not the answer, and more to give them tools to understand and cope. Look for early warning signs and if there is any leakage of violent fantasies. Access to the internet and exposure to people talking about this often makes it easier to visualize and manifest. Give them a healthy channel to let it out. Now, this is a problem. All of these guys who are known to do things in schools and all that, they had very similar patterns, very isolated, disgruntled about something. They had access to their parents' artillery or whatever it was. And then guys like Andrew Taint, I like calling him. Whoever, think about it this way. If you're going to feel a sense of contraction, whether you're listening to something, reading something, or whatever, I like avoiding that. Like I avoid the news like a plague, especially watching the news. And it's so weird. We watch The Chase during the breaks. It's so strange seeing these old couple on the news. School shooting, this bad news happened. See you at 9 o'clock. And they're still smiling and saying all this like they're just some kind of robots or AI generated people. It's just very strange. From fruit fly to stink eye, searching for anger's animal roots. The summary of this is expressing anger can reduce the stress hormone, but done in the right way, otherwise it fuels it more. All animals fight, but they could be play fighting. They could not have any emotions while fighting over food. And goes back to the first audio I've already done, where it's about showing anger instead of feeling anger. A mother shows anger because she cares. She wants, stop doing that, don't do that. I will get very upset. Mother's not getting angry, but she's scaring the person or using it that way. Now this one, he was imprisoned and losing his mind. Anna Karenina saved him. That was a book. So the summary, and I think there's a long version and a short version. This one's the short version, I'm sure. Summary is a fictional character that suffers the same as the prisoner becomes his salvation. A good example of finding the right thing to chew on can be a salvation. And this story was tapped by his friend in the next cell as they were not allowed to talk. Over 800 pages, they're not allowed to talk to each other. This guy was tapping, so they made their own Morse code. This guy tapped every letter, every word, whatever it was, to tell the guy next door, a story. It's like when things align, you think there is some kind of divinity, but it helped this guy. And the same goes for Viktor Frankl's book, where Viktor Frankl, if you don't know his story, I will share a link there. This guy discovered something called logotherapy. So he was in the Hitler, the concentration camps and everything, but he found salvation in his mind because it all happens in the mind. Now, this is my link. It's the link to my anger tracker. You can use the anger tracker because whatever gets tracked gets managed. Since I've started using this anger tracker, I know what my triggers are. I could start seeing the pattern. The more I recorded, what was the trigger? What was my expression? How long did it last? How long was the intensity? What are my solutions? How can I take 100% responsibility of this? You can blame as many people as you want. That's not going to help you. Now, the power of Martin Luther King's anger. In the summary, it says MLK decided to communicate with love even though he would feel his anger rising. He believed in the power of redemptive love. His reply in the advice column was to channel the destructive pattern in a constructive channel. And I believe Gandhi was a big inspiration to him to do things the non-violent way. How to demand a medical breakthrough. Lessons from the AIDS fight. So the summary for this one, and my note is, it's not a real takeaway. It was more this one guy started blowing a whistle and shouting, "Stop killing us," which became a chant for the gay crowd. So it was just like MLK said, find the right channel. They found the right channel. Everyone got on board with it, and it was a good message instead of um, saying something offbeat. It was stop killing us. It made them real. Now, next audio was harnessing the power of the angry black woman. The summary is history of the angry black American woman. The biggest superheroes have been angry black women who took responsibility of their situation and found ways to thrive. Rage can be just a starting point. Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, so many of them, they're just known. This is a big thing. I didn't even realize until I listened to this because the rage of angry black woman, it's like it's changed so many things. Now in the next audio is you get paid for doing therapy. Stand-up comedians on anger. And that's a picture of Mo Amer. The summary is Mo Amer talks about his anger from the struggles of being a Palestinian refugee. Some of his jokes come from empathy and sympathy. And my note there is you have to watch his specials and his series to understand how well he's converted anger to humor, money, fame, and more. Like when I watch his story, there's a series called Mo and his stand up. Like, just watch the series. The compassion I feel for this guy, like, I admire this guy so much. What he's done, it's like amazing. And I just feel for Palestinian people because, like, you can't even imagine what they've been through, and they still have this, like, they still can take it on the chin like that. It's crazy. And then we have our issues, and I'm like, FWP, man, first world problems compared to what they've gone through. Next is teaching kids to control their anger. The summary is the Inuit did the opposite of what we do. They waited for a calm, peaceful moment when the child acted out, and they put on a play or drama of reenacting what happened, and in a playful, fun tone, they'd provoke the child to hit them again. If the child hits, the parent goes, "Ow, that hurts." Then ask the child a thought-provoking question like, "Don't you like me?" They get to practice controlling their anger. It's harder to do in the moment, so wait when the kid is calm and then go over the scenario again and remember to keep it fun and playful. I need to remember this because a lot of the time I'll let my son hit me. He's in that phase where he wants to, I want to fight with you, and then he'll fight with me or he'll just hit me, and I don't mind. But there are times when I'm like, that really hurts, or not the face, and he'll still push my boundaries, and I'll be like, okay. Sometimes I don't react well, other times I need to remember to use this. This is a very nice, playful way of doing things. So that's it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by ParisTube, which is my other channel, where I share solutions on like house problems, home improvement, tech reviews, assembly instructions, or toy assembly with my son. So please feel free,